All right, thanks for staying with us. You are watching Standpoint. We're turning our attention now to the insecurity in the Northeast region, specifically in Borno State, where the governor has, there was some sort of outcry from the governor, Babagana Zulum, about resurgence of attacks by the Boko Haram and ISWAP group in that area. He said some communities are now under perpetual and continuous attacks. Let's bring in the advocate of people's rights and justice, Victor Giwa, or rather National Coordinator Advocates for People's Rights and Justice. Victor Giwa, he joins me live from Abuja studio. Good to have you join us.
Yeah, good afternoon.
So let me get your thoughts on, I mean, the recent attacks in some of these states. Let's just even start with broadly, Benue State, Plateau State, and Borno State. We're seeing a resurgence of attacks. So what's your reaction to that?
Well, thank you very much. It's very sad, and it's surprising that when we thought that we have moved from the phase of recurrent attacks from Boko Haram, from ISIS, and from terrorists, I would say, we are now experiencing a resurgence of some of these attacks from Boko Haram and the terrorists. I think it was Ali Udume, Senator Ali Udume, who was saying it in some recent time that about 250 communities are under the control of Boko Haram within the Northeast region. And we just saw the governor of Plateau State recently explaining how there was some attack in some communities just about a few days ago. And we are still having the same thing in Benue State. So it is sad that at this time, with the level of successes we have had from the past military interventions, it is sad that it is becoming a daily news right now. Some communities a few weeks ago, in January 12th, in Duba community in Borno State, over 40 farmers were killed. And it also took place on the 23rd of January. And we are seeing recently again in this month. So it's really a very sad event and a sad happening. And I think that the government should take it very seriously to see how they can address this resurgence.
Just like you mentioned, one of the reports we get from government officials and security officials is that, I mean, largely these groups, whether it's the bandits or ISWAP or Boko Haram, that they have been largely decimated. We get a lot of this briefing, especially from the defense headquarters, on how the work that has been done so far. And then I've listened to security experts over the week talking about how this is a setback. And I just wanted to ask you, what's your evaluation, for the reason or of the reason for the setback?
Well, the reasons, I am not an extreme security expert, but one of the things and one of the reasons and one of the beliefs we have is that government seem to have been distracted from giving attention to the issue of security, especially within our remote communities. As at a point in Nigeria, it was in the front burner. You can't wake up any day when you will not hear the military giving out reports of how they have been able to chase away these Boko Haram bandits and some of these insurgents away from communities. We are seeing less of that. I don't know whether it is because of distractions, political distractions. I think we need the military to tell us what exactly is happening. I know there are a lot of task force on this insurgent in the northern region, I think that the Chief of Army Staff, we've not heard a lot from the new Chief of Army Staff after the death of Major General Lagbaja. I have not seen much from him. We've seen a lot of information coming from the Chief of Defense, but the Chief of Army Staff, whose duty I think is in the front runner, he has not come up to tell us some of this development and the actions, the step the military is taking to address these very issues. I think that the federal government should make it a priority, so that we can be hearing and we can be seeing that communities will be safe. I think it is very important that government should take this issue of insecurity, killings of our people, killings of farmers within the community as a top priority. If you look at the news right now, most of the things you see are political issues, government, a particular political party taking over a state of emergency and all of that. Political party, people realigning themselves, coalition, people that want to, talking about 2027. I think government should not lose focus about protecting of life and property. So the major reason I believe is the reason why we have this resurgence is because government seem to have been distracted by some political activities, and they have failed to give priority or to concentrate more or to up their action and their steps in terms of coming out with strategy on how to address this issue of resurgency. We have also had the information from the defense information telling us about their actions recently, how they were able to chase away some, how they attack some insurgents, leading to killings of quite a number of them. We have seen some, gains by the military to that extent. But you see, it shouldn't be a case of the insurgent attacking communities, killing our farmers, killing our people, and then the military coming in. There should be a strategy of protection, a strategy of defense, of defending, a strategy of preventing such attacks, a strategy of engaging the community, a map where these communities, intelligence about possible attacks so that the security agency can preempt this attack. We cannot be having a situation where the insurgent can just attack, and then the next thing we hear is that a lot of persons, we start counting the deaths instead of appreciating the effort, instead of eulogizing the effort of the security agency, of the military. What we see is counting the number of deaths. We'll be talking about, 40 persons were killed, 10 persons were killed, 20 communities have been taken over by
if I may comment, I just wanted to ask you, because you have also supported the fact that, the claim from security experts that this is a setback. But in terms of the number of attacks that we have seen in recent days, especially in these three states, Borno, Plateau, and Benue, how much of a setback do you think this is? How much work do you think still needs to be done compared to, where we're coming from?
It's a serious setback, like I said, and I said that it's a serious setback. We can't be talking about communities being taken over by Boko Haram, by insurgents, and by bandits. In short, I was reading a report of how like I quoted in Dume, that we have had over 250 attacks between November last year and April this year. And we haven't had stories of communities being under the control of bandits. So it is a lot of setback for us, considering the amount of money that have been projected so far, to the forces, to defense, to security. Talking about the level of equipment, we are even seeing where the stories that Nigerians can now, produce arms for ourselves. So why are we having these attacks without a corresponding, defense from our security agency. It's a serious setback. It weighs so much on the mind of our people, and it affects the economy because these persons are farmers. In Benue State, they are 100% farmers. In the Northeast, all of them are farmers. In Katsina, those people that were killed were farmers. It will affect the economy in the long run. So when we are talking about food, increase in the prices of food, these are some of the immediate causes of the high price, inflation rate. Because when farmers don't go to their farm to farm, when farmers don't go to their farm to harvest, what we see is scarcity. And when there is scarcity, there will be an increment in the price, and it will take its toll on the economy and on the people. So it is a serious setback for us as a nation. And it is
interesting, you mentioned the food inflation, because I remember the media chats by the Benue State Governor Hyacinth Alia, when he was talking about insecurity in the state, and he said he cannot wait for that to be dealt with because he wants the state to return to being the #1 producer of yam in the country. And so, of course, that's also leading to food insecurity. But I find interesting the fact that you mentioned the defense allocation and spending, because I was going to go there next. If you look at this year's budget, you realize that defense is a major focus of the president. But, I wanted to ask you if you think that we are demanding accountability, that is commensurate with the amount of money that is being spent on security.
Unfortunately, the amount of money that is budgeted and allocated to defense is one budget that it is difficult to explain because they will tell you that issue of security is secret and all of that, unlike what happens in other crime. But I think what this call for the members of the National Assembly, the Committee on Nigerian Navy, Nigerian Army, or the security agencies should be able to question, our security agency, for them to tell us how far, what is the problem, what are the challenges they are having, because we cannot explain away these attacks. I mean, if huge amount of money is being budgeted and allocated to the defense, and we are seeing serious resurgence of some of these attacks, I think it calls for questioning. The Chief of Army Staff, the Chief of Defense Staff, they need to explain to Nigerians what is happening. We need to know we need to know what step they intend to take. We need to know how secured our communities are. They need to tell us what they are doing right now and what has really gone wrong. So we need that. We deserve that explanation. They owe that to us. I mean, having expended such amount of money, even by previous government, because we cannot just say now that the Tinubu government that just came in the last 1.5 years, talking about the amount and budget they have given to the defense. Other successive government, the Buhari government, the Goodluck Jonathan government, they've spent a lot of money. We saw where even President Buhari took huge amount of money for the purchase of arms. We saw the purchase of arms from other countries. What are we doing with these arms? How far have we gone? What are the challenges? So we need the security agents, especially the Chief of Army Staff and the Chief of Defense Staff, to explain to us what exactly is happening and the plan and the strategy they intend to take to addressing this serious resurgence of insecurity within the Northeast and some other areas of the country.
Do you also think that perhaps this withdrawal, I know that you are not, like you mentioned, an extreme security expert, but do you also think that the withdrawal of Niger, Burkina Faso, and Mali from ECOWAS, and then also pulling out their troops from the MNJTF, that perhaps that's also contributing to what we're seeing now?
I didn't get that. Please, can you come again?
I was asking you if you think that the withdrawal of Mali, Burkina Faso, and Niger, especially Niger, who was an active player in the joint task force against ISWAP and Boko Haram, perhaps that has now been severed. That perhaps that is also contributing to the attacks we're seeing now, especially in Borno.
Okay, yeah. I'm aware that. There are a lot of issues within within the northeast region, Borno in particular, and of course it borders and the Lake Chad region. And I'm aware that there were some joint task force, but since the withdrawal of Niger and other countries, yes, it could have affected the regional efforts, in fighting the insurgents, especially the Boko Haram and ISWAP, the Islamic West African province. I think that also has also contributed to it, because some of these insurgents, some of the Boko Haram elements, they move in from Lake Chad and Niger, and where there is no collaboration between the countries in terms of their forces, that again, we also see some form of collapse in terms of the intelligence and the enforcement. That also, I agree, could have also affected the resurgence, because somehow they might have seen some loopholes, sometimes they might have seen some gray areas where they use infiltrating, and especially Nigeria, where we ourselves too, because we have a very large border, in all these things we also consider the porosity and the size, the size of our border. Nigeria cannot be over-policed because of the size of the country. We have less, numbers of security men, both in the army forces and in the police. But we know that there are still less hands and men, men on the ground, considering our border. But I think that that also has affected us. But most importantly, I think that there must be a grand plan. You see, the issue of security should not be kept on top of the political table. Nigerian military is one. The armed forces are one. So the strategy, the plan, the roadmap should be one. So that any chief of any commanding officer or if the chief of army staff comes in, they follow the plan, because the whole essence of security is to the protection of life and property and preservation of the territorial integrity of Nigeria. So the roadmap should be the same. The strategy might be different, but the roadmap should be the same. So we think very strongly that the security agency should come with a watertight strategy or roadmap towards dealing with this insurgent. We shouldn't be having a case where we have some gains after a new government comes in, we'll now be seeing a resurgence or we'll be seeing a fallback. No, the issue of security should be such that any successive government that comes in, the head of the army, the head of the navy, the head of the army forces can continue from where the last chief of army staff or security chiefs have stopped. So we shouldn't see a change of a plan, a change of roadmap, a change of roadmaps. No, I think that
even if the plan is not working, Mr. Giwa, you think that they should continue just for the sake of continuity? Come again. You were saying that there shouldn't be a change of strategy or roadmap because there is a change of leadership, and I'm saying that even when the plan is not working, they should just continue. They should continue with the plan just for the sake of continuity. No. If you, that is why we are discussing issue of resurgence. When there is a resurgence, it means that at a point it subsided. At a point it was better. In the past 10, 11 months, 15 months, we've not had cases like this. Like we are discussing right now. We held election in 2023, and we've not had this constant issue of attacks. It came before the election, but after the election, we have seen some reduction. We've seen some gains by the Nigerian army. But so recently, we are now seeing this resurgence. And there's a need for you to ask a question and ask the people in the aims of affairs, what happened to the gains that we have had in the past? What is the problem? So what I am saying is that if we have had gains in the past, it is important, therefore, that the current leadership in the military should continue from that path.
should improve on it, not necessarily maintaining the status quo, but they should improve on it so we should see something better. And so if we have something better in the past, now the current leadership within the military should continue in that path. And that is the point I'm making. But if in the past we have had failures, then there will be a need for you to change the strategy and the roadmap. That is the point I'm making.
Absolutely.
So, but for what I am saying,
but Mr. Giwa, I want to quickly come in.
Enormous successes.
Apologies, because of time. I wanted to ask you, because one of the strategies, you have been talking about coming up with strategies. And again, I was listening to, like I mentioned earlier, security experts during the week, and everyone seems to be repeating the same thing. Two things. One of them I would ask you about now, which is that Nigeria should seek the help of private mercenaries, as was done during the Jonathan administration, give them a target and the duration for that target, and get them to do the job and leave, and then the army can consolidate on their efforts. Is that something you will agree to? Because it looks like we're saying that our military cannot do the work.
No. I have not said that our military cannot do the job.
No. I'm asking you for your own opinion, on that strategy that has been proposed by security experts. Yes. The strategy, they have their strategy, but what we are saying is that they should come out with a better strategy, because you see that what the expert, the military will tell you is that, oh, this is an asymmetric war. Oh, this is not a conventional war. And so they have to, adopt certain measures. They have to adopt both kinetic and not kinetic. But to me, what I am saying is that the Chief of Army Staff, the various security stakeholders should come. There should be a collaboration between of course, which I think they are having, the Nigerian Army, the Nigerian Air Force, which they have been having, to come out with plans on how to make sure that these communities within these areas that are exposed to banditry and insurgent, how they could be attacked, how they could be protected, and if there is any attack, how there could be a counter-attack. So could it include getting more task forces, getting more military men into these areas, setting up a lot of military points within this community, training and retraining our military, encouraging, making sure that our soldiers that are on ground are well encouraged, they are well motivated. And Mr. Giwa, I get that point.
Also,
again, apologize, but I get that point. The question I was really asking was, some have said we need to, for short-term, just for the short-term impact, because all of this training and getting, equipment and ammunition could take a while. But if we want to have short-term impact, we should hire private mercenaries, get them to do the job and finish the job immediately. And I was asking if you think that that's the path that we should take. No. I don't believe in contracting the duty of our security, to machineries. I really don't believe that. You don't concede. You don't contract issues like security to some other. To certain governments or authority. Yes, if there are ties between countries who wants to assist in tackling the insurgents, that is fine. But for you to contract, machinery, to me, I don't think it's ideal, because sometimes there are also so many international interests. We've seen cases where persons have said some international organizations were even promoting the Boko Haram insurgents in the Northeast. We have seen a president of a country who have alleged and accused a particular agency internationally of having the tendency of promoting insurgents in the Northeast. So that is the danger of subcontracting your security to any group, organizations, or country. I believe that the Nigerian military has the capacity to fight the insurgent. Only the thing I think they need to do is to prioritize this issue of insecurity, is to make more plans, is to encourage the men on the ground, is to come out with new strategies, to get the right people, and not to politicize appointment of persons in handling certain places, because sometimes political decisions has also affected the fight against insurgents, because the persons involved
are human beings. Some of them are appointed by our politicians. Somehow, because of political interest, we have not been able to appoint the right people to be in certain places to address some of these issues. And somehow, too, there could be some underground subversion. There could be some persons who are trying to undermine the system. So it is very important. I believe, I must state it again, that I believe that there is no need for us to contract out the issue of our security to machineries. The military and our military can handle it. We have the capacity in terms of the equipment, in terms of persons. So what we need to do is to recruit more people. Nigerians, we have a population advantage. The Nigerian military should recruit more persons into the military, get them trained and retrained, come out with a strategy, and I believe that they have done it before, and they can do it again. So it's a matter of coming up with of proper planning, getting the right persons to do the job, looking at the equipment, removing corruption and all kinds of bottlenecks that could be within this area, because I also am aware that there are a lot of corruptions. To see are the soldiers on ground, how are they, what is their morale? We've heard stories of, soldiers on ground, they are losing morals. Some of them want to withdraw. I don't know if those informations are true. So what is the welfare of those soldiers who are fighting this insurgent? How are they feeling? What feelers are they getting from the family? How are their family being taken care of? So in this time of economic hardship, how are their family feeling? So soldiers who are on the ground and they're having the feelings that their family are not being taken care of, their morale will be low. So these are the issues I think that if the government, if the security agencies pay attention to them, it will help in the improvement of the fight against the insurgents.
Interesting analysis there. Thank you so much for your time. National Coordinator Advocates for People's Rights and Justice, Victor Giwa, thank you for your time.
Thank you so much for having me.
All right, we're going to take a break now, and when we return, we will look at Trump tariffs and the impact it could have on Africa. Stay with us.